Okay, so I don't even feel like sitting out here, and this live thing kind of drains my battery, and I'm kind of worried that my boyfriend is going to come back because he has been really good and really faithful, staying home with me and everything. This room is a mess, but I need to be plugged in, and I'm still not 100%. I'm doing this not for the comments per se, but because I couldn't. You guys know how my videos turn off, and I didn't want this to turn off, and I have a lot to say about it. Um, and I'll say this: if you don't know anything about my channel or anything about me, and sometimes I'm just questioning everything right now, is that I started this channel as I started the channel way back in the day, but it has become like a diary kind of situation for me. It has helped me gain clarity and like see myself in a different way over the last year. And it's so funny, like how life takes a turn. So I just want to talk about it because it has not been able to be a private thing for me because it happened in such a public way. It happened to me at work. I had to be EMS out of work. And basically, how did it happen? Is that I had a doctor's appointment. My boyfriend is very hands on because he always wanted to have a child. So he didn't like the doctor's office that I was going to. It was in the medical center. It's very busy, and he wanted a more traditional office. So I had been to several doctor's visits. I was getting tired of getting sonogram pictures, you know what I mean? And these are important when I say things like that. I was there for a doctor's appointment at 10:30 or 10:45. Out by 12:30. I had got like a lot of tips and pointers. I kind of regret one thing that I allowed to happen was this video is already seeming like all over the place, even though I've had to tell this story so many times because it happened to me in such a public place. I went to the doctor and I had other female things going on. That doctor had found a fibroid on my left side. I had always had a pulling and a pain on my left side. The other doctor had already found a polyp on my cervix, and I allowed her to go in there and look at the polyp on my cervix, and I kind of regret that. I don't know, and you can't say, but I regret that. I had some pain while she was trying to look at my cervix, but she was like, the cervix is fine. It's away from the baby because the baby is on the right side, pushed down, and the uterus is right where it's supposed to be. Heartbeat was there. What I need to watch out for was my blood pressure, and I was gaining weight really fast. I left there very rejuvenated, like because I was sick. Let me say that too. I had been so sick, I could not keep food down. I had such acid reflux. Like Thanksgiving weekend on our way back, I just vomited and vomited and vomited straight, just stomach bowel, like acid. And but every doctor kept telling me that I was fine. That was the main thing. I was fine. I left that doctor's appointment probably like 12:30, 1 o'clock. Me and my boyfriend had to rush to get a quick lunch at Luby's, if you guys know what that was. He says he remembers me saying I got kind of like a little bit of stomach pain. We're in the car. I'm sick. I'm drained. I feel like I'm being pushed. And I was like, I need to know when can I quit working this job because I felt so much pressure. That's also important to me in my story is that I felt this pressure. And he was like, well, you can quit at any time. And I was like, talk is cheap. We need to really talk about this. You know what I mean? And so I remember going to work at 2 because he was like, okay, I'm going to drop you off to work because he had driven me to the doctor's appointment. I'm going to pick you up at 7 o'clock. So I'm trying to make it to 7 o'clock in my mind because I'm not trying to use my off days because life goes on and I was running out of PTO time and I was going to go unpaid. And I remember sitting at my desk and feeling so much pressure and it being 3:40 and just trying to make it until 7. And I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I was like, I'm in pain. But I do this thing where I trick my mind out and I say, are you being dramatic? Are you being dramatic? Calm down. Or is it just anxiety? Are you trying to play sick? Are you really sick? Do you not just want to focus on work? Like I do all this crap in my mind to make sure that is this really real? But I could barely walk to that bathroom. And I sat there on the toilet and I thought I had to go take a bowel movement because I had all this pressure on my stomach and and I just had this pain. So the bathroom cleared out because there's a man that cleans the bathroom. He closes it off, but a girl went in there past him and she hurt me. And I'm very, very thankful because I don't know what I would have done. I think I was in so much shock because, like, She asked me if I was okay. I was like, yes. She asked if I was okay. I was like, yes. And then I was like, no, I'm hurting. I'm hurting. And she asked me if I was expecting. And then I didn't answer her. And she asked me again because I hadn't really told people at work. She asked me again, and I said I was, and she's like she's gonna call the EMS. And at the time, I was so like embarrassed because I hadn't told people at the office. I was like, damn, people gonna know I'm pregnant, and I got to get out of here on a stretcher. And then it was like the toilet just started to fill up with blood. So at that time, I didn't care, and I was in so much pain. I didn't even care. People saw me with my pants down. They got me off the toilet, and they wanted the EMS told them to lay me down on my left side. I couldn't get down on the floor. I couldn't move my pelvis. I couldn't. It's like your pelvis controls so much of your body. I could not move, and it was like my body was like it felt like so much pressure in my abdomen. I was just wet with sweat. And so, the job, if you work in a corporate job, you know how it is when people start hearing things through the grapevine and stuff like that. And I remember being rolled out, and it seemed to be a slow process for me. I don't know if I was in so much pain or what, but I ended up getting to the emergency room and having to sit out a little bit. And there was another lady, older lady, she over there moaning, looked like she's talking about she got stomach pain too. But I know she was not pregnant, And I remember getting pissed off because I was like, I can go moan in my own bathroom. My boyfriend, like, he showed up to the emergency room 10 minutes after I had got there. He said he was flying down the highway. And I went to the bathroom, and this is the part that really does bother me, is that as soon as I was sitting in the chair, and I kind of wish that I would have stuck up for myself more. Because I did. I was sitting in the chair, and I was like, I just gotta go to the bathroom. And I don't know, like I have like this habit of like standing up when I pee sometimes, like kind of like squatting down, especially like in public bathrooms and stuff like that. And with this happening, I wanted to see everything that was like coming out. And when I was peeing, it wasn't pee, it was just straight blood, like stop sign red blood. Now I had had bleeding in the first 2 to 3 weeks, and that was nothing. This was like the whole toilet was full of this like stop sign, the reddest blood that you can get. And the girl asked me if I was pregnant. I got so pissed off. Oh, I was mad. And I was like, yes, and then you could tell she was like taken aback. And she said, have you passed any solids? And I was like, no, but I think I'm about to. And you guys, I don't know if you ever passed a blood clot, but it felt like that. But then I could see this little spiral thing at the bottom. It was like spiraling out, and it was long. And I, finished, and I went to the hospital bed, and they still trying to get the pain medication in me into a room. And before they could even get the pain medication into me, and before we were like even settled, I'm trying to lay back on the hospital bed, but I can't. I mean, I'm bleeding really bad. They got me on one of those what I call like a puppy pad. And the doctor comes in and tells me that I passed my pregnancy in the bathroom. And that's how she said it. And then she was like, I'm sorry. And then she waited 30 seconds, and then she said, I'm so sorry. And it was like, I know I speak English, but at that time, I didn't really understand. Like, I understood, but I didn't really understand until she said she was sorry, and it was like, it was, and then I don't want to be long winded, was that they asked us if we wanted to see it. And my boyfriend says they brought it out in like a Betty Crocker. What do you call it? Like that old school butter thing. Um, and we were to see it. And it was amazing because we didn't know how sizable it was going to be. It was like the size of my palm. It had a head. It had eyes. It had a chest. And like for me, the thing that sticks out is that it had fingers, all of them, and that little thing at the bottom of it. You know. So they started hurrying up and giving my medication. I feel like they then started to take it seriously, but it was too late. You know what I mean? You guys left me sitting out there in the emergency room when I came in here, still asking me once I asked to go to the bathroom if I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? I feel like it should have been more of a priority. And um, they wanted to take me to go get a sonogram and stuff like that. Of course, they can't tell you. And I had so many sonograms, like probably like three, vaginal and outer, throughout this whole process because I had switched doctors. and I was tired of getting them, but it was so funny because I had got so used to seeing the baby on the side, so we kind of knew. In the emergency room, they cannot tell you what they see; they can only take the pictures. Some of them will allow you to look at the screen, some of them won't. But we know, and you get to hear a heartbeat and stuff. You like, in my last doctor that same day was like, "Oh, that's her heartbeat," and then that's the baby's heartbeat underneath, and she, my boyfriend's like, "Is that the heartbeat?" And the doctor was like, "No, that's hers." And she couldn't say anything, but we didn't see anything, so we kind of knew, you know what I mean? It was done, It was definitely done. And I remember his dad calling him and he didn't want to answer the phone. I said, "Well, I just want to leave it at the hospital. Like, get out all your phone calls, talk about it now. I don't want to ever talk about it again." I was high. I really was high because I had morphine and some other kind of drugs. Girl was drugged up and was like, "We're just gonna leave this at the hospital." Well, my phone, because I didn't even think about calling anybody. I was like, "Well, let me call my family." Before I could even call my family, I had like six text messages from my job because people started to know at work. So it wasn't a private thing for me. And then a lot of things happen to pregnant people. Everybody was like, "Is everything okay?" and stuff like that. They thought that maybe I just had a scare, and then like I was so drugged up and I just kept typing the word, over and over again, like miscarriage, miscarriage, miscarriage. Like I didn't feel like going into, like, I mean, one of my coworkers calling me, I thought she knew, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I had heard, but you had to get EMS transported out, but you and the baby are okay, right? You and the baby are okay." And I was like, "No." And she was like, "What do you mean no?" And I was like, "I just no." And then she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, It's not a baby." And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like you could tell, like, and I don't blame people. Like sometimes you get offended because you're like, "Oh, they're just trying to be nosy," but at that time, it was so overwhelming, and that was just like the hospital visit. But it's still going on because I didn't get a DNC or anything because, and I hate to say it this way, but the whole thing came out of me, like basically like I had a baby. Like, even though it was a small one, the whole thing, it wasn't a miscarriage. Like I'm looking at online with these women saying that, "Oh, the baby doesn't have a heartbeat." No, no, mine had a heartbeat and it came out. I don't know what pushed it out. I don't know if it's because my cervix is open. I don't know. It came out. And I'm still, days after, that was Tuesday and now we're Monday, I'm still passing blood clots. Like I still am. Last night was like so painful. My boyfriend has really been here for me, like, and like that's why I'm like looking over my shoulder, wondering when he's gonna come back. But even he was just like, "Man, you're in pain," and like the pain medication is not helping. Like it was just like a lost feeling. I remember having to go. So that was Tuesday, going to the doctor that Friday. My mom came into town. She stayed a few days, but she went to that doctor's visit with me, and just being in the waiting room with people who had new babies, and I was okay, but then all of a sudden I just started crying. I really did. It was so strange. And I feel like that was unfair. I was like, "Now y'all know why I'm coming in here. Why would y'all put me in a waiting room with this?" Like, even if you, I don't know, it's just like people just don't think. And I'm just sitting up there waiting, and the tears are just starting to flow, and going back there to the doctor, and she wanted to, had to tell the story again about what happened, for the follow-up visit. At that time, I had told the story so many times. She automatically assumed that I wanted to get pregnant again right away. You guys know, if you follow me on this channel, like it was completely unplanned, and you know that has put a lot of thoughts in my mind because and he's gonna start crying. That has put a lot of thoughts in my mind because I feel guilt because I was not sure and I was not accepting, but I feel like I had surrendered myself to having a child. Like I was going to do this. And my boyfriend asked, "Do you want to?" I don't have to answer this. Let me see. I'm gonna have to hurry up and finish this because he's on his way back. So I don't know what I was saying. Oh, the doctor just automatically, because I was so shaken up and in tears, automatically just assumed that I wanted to go ahead and get pregnant right away. She didn't want to change my blood pressure medication. She wanted me to stay on the maternal or prenatal blood pressure medication. She also wanted me to try to get some weight off because my weight had like shot up. She asked me about my symptoms, and that was something else. Is that my symptoms like went away that same night? Like all of that tiredness, all of that exhaustion, went away instantly. Also, another thing was that I worried because when I was sitting at my desk, I felt pressure. Like I felt like I was underwater, like I was drowning. But I work such a stressful job that's normal for me, and a lot of times I'll just like lay my head back in the seat and I'll just because that's like normal. But the doctor did say that when you have blood pressure doesn't stay the same all day. It spikes, and if your blood pressure goes high, that could be like suffocating to the baby, to the fetus. It's like you suffocate the child, and it's so funny because that's how I felt sitting at work. I felt like I was being suffocated. I felt underwater, like, and I will always feel guilty for that. You know what I mean? Like I told him that day, I would have went home that day. What if I wouldn't have had the vaginal like? But you can't do the what ifs. And like when I was in the hospital, and I do want to put this in here. I felt so peaceful and so calm, and I was like, I'm mentally well. I am mentally good. I feel great. I just know so many things have happened to me in my life, and I remember saying that with so much calm. So many things have happened to me in my life that have shocked me, that were unbelievable to me, and I've made it through, and that's how I felt. Why did she quit calling me? All I wanted is a burger and fries. It's irritating me. Um, that's real life, right? Because he gonna keep calling me back to back, and I'm just like, I just need some time to myself because it's like he's like really being like really watchful because I've been in a lot of pain. I'm still passing like blood clots and things like that. I don't know what's normal. I know that I felt like I was under a lot of pressure, and I say this, and there's a lot of things that I do want to say in this video, and I'll probably make another one. Is that don't let people put pressure on you. If you don't feel good and you under pressure, be damn what other people say. Because I feel like I was more. I had thought more about getting fired than I thought about. I had never thought about having a miscarriage, never ever. But I thought about getting fired all the time, and I thought about that more than anything, and it pisses me off. It really, really pisses me off. And it's like I'm supposed to go back to work on like Wednesday. I don't want to go back there. It's just, and I know I'm not going, I'm not going to put negativity out there, but it's like, how can I last long? You know what I mean? It's like, I just need like a clean slate. I just think about even like going back to that bathroom, even though it didn't happen at the work bathroom and started at the work bathroom and finished at the hospital bathroom. And people like looking at me, and it's so funny because you can be so strong, but you can have a weakness. And I'm a very private person, which is like that's why I don't want a big channel. Like I talk to you guys, I'm a very introverted person. Most people who do this kind of thing are introverted. I don't like people knowing my business, and now everybody like knows my business, which is not really that serious, on the grand scheme of life. But it's just like knowing who you are. And I think like, the whole point push line to like really like to get to know myself faster and have all these plans and all these ideas. And then it's like that's taken away from you. And then because it was unplanned, I was very unsure, and I feel guilty because I feel like I've been given like a second chance, and that's like I feel so guilty. But I also feel like that was my baby, and then like my boyfriend was like talking to me about it because he knew that I had like a lot of thoughts about it. I was very honest about it. But it's like if somebody takes your arm away from you, you want your arm back. Even if it was a fat, nasty, jiggly arm, it was your arm. You know what I mean? I just feel like something was really like taken from me. Even though I did not plan it, even though I wasn't the most over the top, like, oh, roses, even though it was like horrible, like sickness, I kind of miss being sick, you know what I mean? Because I know it's like it was like for a reason, and I run stuff on social media about what to expect and how the baby is doing, and just to know that it's not there anymore. I think seeing it really did help me to put that closure on there because my mom was like, well, how do they know? Maybe they just not seeing it. I was like, no, we saw it on the outside. You know what I mean? We it's just a little all over the place just because it's been like such a shocking kind of situation. Um But overall, I'm well. Like I went to church yesterday, and I really felt a sense of peace. I really feel like I gave it to God. Like I don't know if you guys know that Tasha Combs song. Like I'm gonna put a praise on it. That has been my song. Like I'm serious because it's like God gets the glory no matter what. Ever together for the good. Serve the Lord. I'm telling you, I've been through so many things in my life where I didn't know how I was gonna make it through. So many things, and I will never feel like that I can't make it through life because I know there's always a ram in a bush and a peace and a calm that comes over you. And I had so much calmness in that hospital. I mean, I was just like calm. Like it's only at night that I kind of like cry a little bit. And now that I'm thinking about going back to work, and now that my boyfriend's getting on my nerves because he's so worried about me because I'm still in physical pain. I think that's like the most miserable part about it is that it's still not over for me yet. Like I'm still hurting. Like I didn't know I would be bleeding for like possibly like 10 days, and I'm still passing blood clots, and it just keeps going on. But I have to get off of this. I just wanted to put it out there. I thought I was going to be able to put it out there in a more articulate way, but that is what happened. I have a lot of feelings about it. I have a lot of confusion about it. You know, getting pregnant again right away. In a way, I kind of do want to do that. Because I just feel like God, something's taken, something's lost. Like it's not supposed to be like that. But then it's like, we had like all the worries before about living but yeah, I wanted to put it out here to you guys because like everybody at my job already knows, and I'm gonna have to go out there and face the world in public, in a day or two. So I would rather face it with you guys first. So much I could say though, but I really do believe that faith is important. And when I was in church yesterday, the main thing that I got out of it, like I left before the pastor even got out there and preached. I just stayed for the praise and worship, and I had to go to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom is hard for me, and I just wanted to go after that. But it's like that we definitely live on this spiritual plane. We live in a world with things that we cannot see. And my boyfriend, who is not really religious like me or spiritual like me, men are kind of different. They're more practical. He said he had never heard so many of his friends talk about God until he told them, and that was something else because he had told everybody because we had went around his family for Thanksgiving. So, and I was 12 weeks, about to be 13 weeks, so we were in the clear. So you tell all these people, and now you got to go untell these people that this is not happening. But he said he never heard so many people talk about God. But I talk about God even when there's not a crisis going on. But the message that I got from me, the revelation, it wasn't a message because nobody spoke it, was that, there is a spiritual life. We all could be here today and gone tomorrow. You know, here today and gone tomorrow. And one day I'm going to be gone. You know what I mean? It's going to happen faster than I think. Me sitting over here thinking about this life of this unborn child. I am kind of, it kind of brings me peace that it's like, okay, the little baby didn't have a sin. You know what I mean? It didn't even have a chance to get tainted. Like that brings me happiness. Um, but the sadness is that you'll never get to see, oh, what would it really have looked like? What kind of person would it really have been? But I just wanted to put it out there because I got to be able to face people with it because like I said didn't happen to me privately, it happened to me publicly. So I need to be able to tell people that I don't want to talk about it. I hate when people say they're sorry because it reminds me of the doctor. you know that's the only thing that people really say is that sorry, it's not their fault. But I hate when they say that because it just reminds me of that was my first real awareness, acknowledgement that this was not gonna go through was when somebody told me that they were sorry. Um, yeah, but I have rambled and I didn't want this to cut off. And I know you guys have been saying things. I haven't really been looking at it because I wanted to make this video, postable. I know I look a mess. I ain't combed my hair in days. Like, this is just, who cares? Life is just so different now because I don't have any kids. I wish this would not have happened to me on the first time because it's like, am I supposed to do this? You know what I mean? Or why did this even, it's like a mean joke almost. Like, I get in this situation I'm shocked by. I don't even know if I want it to happen. and then it's taken away from me in such like a tragic way. Like, I think for me the nightmarish part is that I look down. Also, that we know what it looked like. That doesn't bother me that we looked, because that really did provide a lot of closure to us both, just to see it, in physical form, and to know that it was there. And I don't care what you guys said. I always had like, I'm a free, open minded person. Do what you want to do with the whole abortion thing, but I knew that wasn't for me, and now seeing what it looks like at 12 weeks, it really puts it. It's already like a little person, what I mean. It's already like my boyfriend said. Oh, the chest was there, the eyes were there, the head was there. Oh, the fingers. Like for me, just seeing those little fingers was like, ooh, it's already there, and it's just not gonna be on this world, like premature death or whatever. And my ex boyfriend was the one that said, you had a family member that died, which just sounds so weird, because that's not the way that I would typically think about somebody who had a miscarriage. I just, but it's different when it happens to you. It is different. That's another reason why I wanted to put this out, is because I didn't really know anybody who this has happened to. And now that my boyfriend has started to tell his friends, people have come forward and told them that it happened to them. One of the persons that I had told that I was pregnant, they then told me after this that they had had like 3 or 4 miscarriages. So it's so funny that it's not funny. It's so sad that it's common and people don't tell you because they don't want to make you afraid. But I'm a realist. Like, it never crossed my mind. Like, never. Like, it was like, girl, you either go get an abortion, or God that gave you this baby. Like, no, I never thought that I would be going through this process and it would end. And I do have a lot of a prayer and a guilt that I should have been a little bit more happy, and a little bit more prayerful, a little bit more thankful, a little bit more watchful. I wish I wasn't as complaining as I was about all the things that I had to give up, and it's just so weird. But I want to leave this on a positive note about faith, and about surrendering, and about always believing in things you cannot see. Because even if you don't believe in God, I do believe that we're put on this life to learn lessons, and that life is a teacher. And it's just taught me a lot about myself. Like, if I pack my stuff, girl, I might just pack up a suitcase or two and be like, I'm out of here. This is not the life that I'm supposed to live. I'm supposed to go do something else. And it's about that, that feeling of having a second chance, of, okay, I got the second chance. Now, what do I do with it? I'm not going to waste it. I need to get physically better because I'm kind of weak. Like right now, I'm real lightheaded and stuff, and my body is weak. And then I'll be able to make some better choices. But thank you guys if you got anything out of it. I'm just a real regular person. I know it's mixed bags about putting out emotional stuff on here on the internet, especially like when you're crying and stuff like that. But I think I'll be doing a disservice if I didn't, because I came on here and told the internet first before anybody else, before I even told my job, or anybody, even my boyfriend. I put that pregnancy test out here. Never in a million years would I think that I would come here and say I had a miscarriage. It's great. Like, never. I never would have. You think I would have posted that if I would have thought that was an option? It's crazy. But if you got something out of it, let me know. Thank you guys so much for just watching and supporting, and being mature if you're mature, and if you're not mature, go mind your business. Life is something else. Yeah, it's more than what you think. But there definitely are things that we cannot see at work that will blow our mind. We are not in control of everything. And like my mother said, only God makes and takes life. And He can make one and take one at any time. And I do believe that in a whole different kind of way. So, um, yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.